It's always very weird watching movies like this as a YouTuber slash TikToker myself. It just makes me question my life choices. Float was directed by Zach Locke and it stars Scarlett Sperduto. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. This movie is the story of a bunch of vloggers who embark on their annual trip. They always go out to this place, they film there, they have a great time. But once there, a sinister force is uncovered and dark things begin to take place. This leads to a battle for survival with an entity that is way more powerful than any of them could possibly imagine. I really like the fact that movies like this that aren't necessarily huge budgeted or highly funded are making it to theaters, because this movie was pretty much an indie film for horror that made it to a decent theatrical release. It's in the theater by me right now, and it's had a few other spots where it's kind of being dispersed. But I think it's a testament to at least the openness of cinema. But with that out of the way, I want to talk about the movie itself. This movie is a pretty serviceable movie enough. I believe that it has a pretty good premise. It's something that's more relatable for a younger generation, such as myself, who do a lot more vlogging, a lot more things with phones. And because of that, you can make a lot of cool things happen. You can set up a lot of cool situations with that and build situations that lend itself to these particular strong points of a movie that's going to find this as its main premise. The problem I have with it is it doesn't go to all those places. While this film has endless potential to have a bunch of young people out there with a phone in the middle of nowhere with this thing that's trying to get them, it doesn't necessarily explore everything in the best way possible. While the performance by Scarlett, I forget her last name, I'm terribly sorry, I can't pronounce it, is really great. And I think the supporting cast largely does do a good job of what they're doing. There's nothing beyond that in the film. The film also isn't necessarily spectacular to look at. It's rather simplistically shot. It follows a basic style that most people have. You can have a camera on a dolly, you can have a camera being held. It's not a lot of things to keep your eye locked on screen, which can be detrimental to a film, particularly horror, where you need to be keeping the audience seeing different things and seeing ghosts, especially when you have it like this. It's an enclosed environment out in public. It's not public as in a public street, but it's in the wild. It's an environment, and you can use this entire environment to your advantage, but it's not fully used as well as it should or could have been in this movie. There are some brilliant moments, though. I think there are certain times, particularly in the second act, they found that niche, they knew what they were doing, and they pushed forward in a way that felt natural, and people were not making stupid horror film decisions, and there were some good elements at play there, and they used them very, very good. It was very good. But a major issue I have, though, is like the third act very quickly falls apart. While I think this movie was pretty good in the first and second, the third act is pretty unsatisfying, and I didn't necessarily like every direction it took it in, and it did feel rushed and like a contrived ending, sort of, to me. This film is something that I'm happy exists. I'm glad it's in the real world. There's definite enjoyment to be had in it. I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm just saying it is lackluster at parts where it should be better, where it should be exciting, where it should be thrilling and scary and terrifying. The scares in here are decent enough, and there is a good presence of this ominous being, but I don't know if it's ever enough to keep you as completely sweaty and as tense as you should be. There is just something missing here. There are components that needed to be done better. I think this movie needs a little bit of help along the way. Also, the film score here was not all that great. Overall, the movie was just okay, and I didn't enjoy it much. It just wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I'm sure this movie will get a lot more praise for the work that it's done, but I didn't necessarily have the best time with this film. I'm going to give Float a 4 out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you all next time.